Morning, Alan, and good morning to you. Welcome to TARDIS Spider. I'm Terry, and today, Rise of the Daleks. The Daleks appeared in the second story of Doctor Who, and it's a good thing they did. Because without the Daleks, there may be no Doctor Who today. So let's take some time to look at the rise of the Daleks. The monsters and the Doctor. It seems you could not have one without the other. Renette from The Girl in the Fireplace. Absolutely no bug-eyed monsters. So ruled Sidney Newman. Newman wanted to explore humanity, not alien creatures. Originally, the second story in Doctor Who was to be called The Robots, or The Masters of Luxor, but Verity Lambert instead produced a script featuring aliens called Daleks. This story was written by Terry Nation, who would later go on to script Blake 7 and Survivors. He initially turned down the offer to join Doctor Who, as he was working as a writer for comedian Tony Hancock. When he and Hancock fell out, Nathan called and went to work on the script featuring strange aliens. Terry Nation didn't want his aliens looking like actors wearing suits and makeup. While watching a performance of the Georgian National Ballet, he saw dancers glide across the stage like ghosts, an illusion created with long skirts and roller skates. This inspired Nation to make the Daleks legless beings living inside machines that seemed to float across surfaces. Their metal cases armed with mechanical limbs and a single eye stalk. The true creature that existed inside, its body completely atrophied except for a brain plugged into circuitry, making it a strange type of cyborg. The story proposed that the Daleks had once been human-like, but mutated because of radiation unleashed during a war that engulfed the entire planet. The metal shell was both a personal tank and a life support system. David Whittaker would work with Terry Nation to flesh out the script, adding more characterization for the TARDIS crew and others. One initial idea was that the Daleks and the Thals, a human-like race inhabiting the same planet, would join forces to face a mutual threat from outer space. But very quickly the Daleks would become the villains, symbolizing the dangers of prejudice and single-mindedness. Nation intentionally made them seem like the Nazis, with their fascist behavior, distrust of individuality, and obsessive need to exterminate or enslave all inferior life forms. The Thals were the complete opposites of this. Even though they may have looked like robots, the Daleks didn't act as them. They were single-minded, true, but their debut story revealed their fear, impatience, and hatred. When the Doctor tells a Dalek that his plans amount to nothing more than sheer murder, the Dalek clarifies, no extermination. Ian and a Thal named Ganatus discuss the narrow-minded purpose of the villains. Ganatus, yes, why would they destroy without apparent thought or reason? That's what I don't understand. Ian, oh, there's a reason. Explanation might be better. It's stupid and ridiculous, but it's the only one that fits. A dislike for the unlike. Verity Lambert was proud of the Terry Nation story and happily turned it over to Don Wilson, who hated the script. Sidney Newman also agreed with Wilson and that the story should be scrapped in favor of another. Lambert argued that the story wasn't just about one-dimensional monsters, but had obvious moral value and worked as a social allegory. She also would point out that the Daleks were already built and the production hadn't begun on any other script. If they dismissed the story, the program would have to go on hold for a few weeks. With the debut of the Daleks, the show's viewership almost doubled. Older viewers appreciated the science fiction take on the Nazi threat, and the inhuman creatures both frightened and fascinated children. Instantly an outcry arose for Dalek toys and more Dalek stories. Playgrounds were filled with children chasing one another while shouting in imitation Dalek voices. Suddenly, The show had jumped into the cultural mainstream, and over the next few months, merchandising followed. In 1964, the first Dalek adventure was novelized into Doctor Who in an exciting venture with the Daleks, later retitled Doctor Who and the Daleks. The public embraced these monsters so much that seeing a parallel with the four mop-top lads from Liverpool, the media referred to it as Dalekmania. The mystery of the true appearance of a Dalek captivated viewers. In their debut story, the Doctor and Ian opened the metal casing of a dead Dalek and were startled. They quickly closed it again. Needing access to the technology inside, they used a cloak to pick up the creature, kept hidden from view, and placed it on the floor. As they leave, a strange jelly-like claw emerges from under the cloak. In other adventures, Daleks occasionally were destroyed, briefly showing green slime or brain-like creatures with tentacles. We don't fully see a revealed Dalek until 2005. The original Daleks were unable to travel outside of their own city, relying on its metal floors to power them. These original Daleks seemed dangerous but limited. Now, when it came time to bring them back in the show's second year, the production team would give them improved mobility and improved power sources. Not only could they leave their city, but they left the planet Skaro itself, traveling the universe in spinning flying saucers. Along with improved travel, the Daleks were now more vicious. The story, The Dalek Invasion of Earth, did not involve the TARDIS crew stopping the monsters from invading. They had already done so and won by the time the Doctor and his friends arrived on the Earth in the 22nd century, having used germ warfare to eliminate most human resistance. As if that weren't enough, the Daleks now converted many human survivors into cyborg slaves, calling them Robo-Men. It was a new level of evil and horror for Doctor Who, perhaps best summed up by the armor-plated monsters themselves when they declared, "Daleks conquer and destroy." In 1965, the villains from Skaro hit the silver screen in full color. The theatrical film Doctor Who and the Daleks, which was loosely adapted from the first story, had Peter Cushing playing an English scientist, literally named Doctor Who. He would invent a time machine that he called TARDIS, treating it as that was the ship's proper name rather than an acronym. He travels in it with his granddaughters, young Barbara and Susan, as well as Barbara's boyfriend, Ian Chesterton. The movie's full-color Daleks have proper mechanical claws and guns that release a deadly smoke. The film did well, and a sequel, The Daleks Invasion of Earth 2150, hit the theaters the next year. But with Ian and Barbara gone, Doctor Who is now accompanied by Susan and his niece Louise, and a policeman, Tom Campbell, joins the gang just as the TARDIS takes off. Policeman Tom Campbell is portrayed by Bernard Cribbins, who later appeared as Wilfred Mott in the new series of Doctor Who. Other monsters have populated the Whoniverse through the years, but none have gripped the imagination like the Daleks. What makes them the Doctor's greatest foe? The Daleks are time travelers like the Doctor. They possess a strange intelligence like him, and he sees them as a genuine threat, so they're natural enemies. Between the Doctor and the Daleks, we can see how good he is and how bad they are. And there's always something fun about watching true evil getting its butt kicked. I hope you enjoyed that little look at the Daleks. And please remember, enjoy your journey through time and space. And don't ever forget, a child cannot have a favorite book if they do not have one. Give a child a book today.